Saturday Night Live has been launching comedy careers since its first season back in 1975. But plenty of huge stars have auditioned for SNL only to be shown the door. The key to success? Probably going to want to avoid talking about what kinds of tales celebs would have. Jim Carrey is one of Hollywood's biggest stars, breaking through in wacky comedies such as The Mask and the Ace Ventura movies, while later showcasing his flair for drama in acclaimed films such as The Truman Show. Carrey famously got his start on the Fox sketch comedy show In Living Color, making him a breakout star thanks to Fire Marshal Bill, Vera DeMilo, and other hilarious characters. Prior to joining In Living Color, Carrey auditioned for Saturday Night Live on several occasions and was passed by each time. In fact, Carrey's audition tape was played during the SNL 40th anniversary special, featuring a bonkers impression he dubbed Post-Nuclear Elvis.
I said one for the money.
The first of those auditions was when Carrey was just 18 for the 1980 season, in which executive producer Lorne Michaels wasn't involved. For Carrey's subsequent audition, Michaels was back in charge, but didn't see it. Michaels told Vanity Fair in 2015, "I wasn't at the Jim Carrey audition, but somebody who was there said, I don't think Lorne would like it, and they were probably wrong, but it doesn't matter. Or maybe they were right, who knows? No one gets it all right." Donald Glover emerged as a fan favorite on the beloved NBC sitcom Community before going on to critical acclaim for his FX series Atlanta. In parallel with his success as a writer, actor, director, producer, Glover has also established himself as a heavyweight in the music industry under his rap persona, Childish Gambino. Before landing his Community role, Glover auditioned for Saturday Night Live for the first time in 2007 and then again in 2009. He was turned down both times. Glover eventually did make it to Studio 8H, not as a cast member, but as a host in 2018. In his monologue, Glover quipped, "But it truly is an honor to be hosting SNL instead of just auditioning for it, which I did, twice."
That's not a joke, I'm just still pissed.
In retrospect, Glover had come to see being rejected from SNL as one of the best things that could have happened to him. In a 2023 interview with GQ, Glover admitted that becoming a member of the SNL cast would likely have sent him on a very different path, away from the endeavors he would eventually undertake. He said, "I dodged so many bullets. Me being on SNL would have killed me. I got friends who made it on SNL, and at the time, I was like, damn. But if I got on SNL, my career wouldn't have happened." Paul Reubens, who died in July 2023 at age 70, was best known for playing Pee Wee Herman. First introduced in a Los Angeles stage show before becoming the focus of a Tim Burton movie, and then a Saturday morning TV series, Pee Wee's Playhouse. Reubens is also among the many famous folks who got their start with LA improv troupe The Groundlings, which has spawned numerous Saturday Night Live cast members over the years. Prior to hitting it big with Pee-wee, Reubens unsuccessfully auditioned for SNL. As he told the San Francisco Chronicle, he auditioned for the 1980 season, the first after the original cast exited, remembered these days for its sheer awfulness. Among the members of that cast was comedian Gilbert Gottfried, with whom Reubens was friendly. In fact, Reubens was under the impression that Gottfried was tight with one of the producers and that he'd be a shoo-in to join the cast. When he was rejected, he was beyond furious. He admitted, "I was so bitter and angry, I thought, you better think about doing something to take this to the next level." During his plane trip from NYC back to the West Coast, he decided to mount the first Pee Wee Herman show that started it all. He explained, "So I borrowed some money and produced this show. I went from this Saturday Night Live reject to having 60 people working for me. The rest, as they say, is history." Aubrey Plaza first captured attention on Parks and Recreation, where she played lovably nefarious staffer April Ludgate.
I'm getting notes of dried robin's blood, old dirty cashews, and just a hint of a robot's bathwater.
She followed that up by becoming an indie movie queen in such films as Emily the Criminal. She then played a deranged supervillain in FX's Legion, before earning rave reviews for her performance in The White Lotus. Plaza was also a Saturday Night Live wannabe, something she shared during an appearance on The Tonight Show, as she was on the cusp of making her SNL hosting debut. In fact, she revealed that she actually interned on the show.
I was an intern in the design department.
During her time as an intern, Plaza soaked in as much as she could while lurking in the background, admitting that she, quote, studied like a sponge. She also revealed that she subsequently auditioned, but didn't make it to the next round when executive producer Lorne Michaels would be watching. She recalled 2 characters from her audition, one of which was a news anchor who tried to make all the stories sexy. Her other character was a bit more niche.
I was like a pill-popping housewife that had my own talk show called Celebritales, where I would just name celebrities and name what kind of tale they would have.
Before Kevin Hart became one of the all-time most successful stand-up comics in history, and then parlayed that success into movie stardom, he was eager to join the cast of Saturday Night Live. During an appearance on Conan, Hart relived the experience.
If you had seen this tape, you would understand why I didn't get it. I did an impression of Avery Johnson, okay?
What?
Exactly. You see everybody's face?
Johnson, Hart explained, was a point guard for the San Antonio Spurs, who then went on to coach the Dallas Mavericks before becoming an NBA sports analyst. Recalling how confused Lorne Michaels looked during his impression, Hart joked, "I did an impression of a person that nobody knew." He didn't say he didn't know who that was, but I could tell he definitely didn't know. When Hart got his shot hosting SNL, he referenced his failed auditions in his monologue, and how, while they passed on him, he was over it.
You're talking about something that happened 67 months ago, 22 days, 6 hours.
Ultimately, Hart admitted that he now marveled at how fate had intervened, taking him from a soul-crushing failure to superstar host. He said, "Everything happens for a reason. That's the moral to that story." Lisa Kudrow hit comedy pay dirt when she was cast as Phoebe Buffay on Friends, becoming one of television's highest-paid stars in the process. Before that, Kudrow vied to become a member of the Saturday Night Live cast. Her audition, however, did not result in an offer to join the show, something SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels addressed in an interview with Vanity Fair. He explained, "There were lots of people who you'd see how brilliant they were, but you knew on some level that it wasn't going to work. Lisa Kudrow gave a brilliant audition." But it was at the time when it was Jan Hooks and Nora Dunn. Lisa Kudrow earned her improv comedy stripes with the Groundlings, and in Vanity Fair's oral history of the LA improv troupe, she recalled auditioning for SNL alongside fellow Groundlings Kathy Griffin and Julia Sweeney. Kudrow and Griffin were both turned down. Kudrow recalled that she had been, quote, super disappointed, and admitted she was particularly crushed because she'd been personally recommended to Lorne Michaels by original, not-ready-for-primetime player Lorraine Newman, who'd been her instructor at the Groundlings. She said, "Then they picked Julia Sweeney. I was pretty disappointed because I thought, maybe you're one of those people for whom good things don't happen." Jennifer Coolidge was also a one-time member of the Groundlings, whose comedy credits include Legally Blonde, Two Broke Girls, and winning pretty much every award Hollywood has to offer for her 2 seasons on HBO's The White Lotus. Interviewed by Los Angeles Magazine, Coolidge recalled the time that she and fellow troupe members Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, and Sherry O'Terry were flown to New York City to audition for Saturday Night Live. She explained, "They chose Will and Sherry and not Chris and I, and 6 months later, they called up Chris. I was the one who got rejected." However, that disappointment was eventually blunted when she came to understand more about the backstage dynamics at the show. In fact, she came to see that rejection as a blessing. She said, "I was spared a bullet. I think of all the demons and playing politics, I probably would have self-destructed on SNL." In May 2023, Coolidge was set to become one of the many actors rejected for SNL to make triumphant returns to the show as hosts. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, with the show going dark due to the Hollywood writers' strike. Tiffany Haddish was an up-and-coming stand-up comic when she auditioned for Saturday Night Live. She wasn't chosen, but soon after, she landed a role in the raucous comedy Girls Trip, which proved to be a star-making one for her. In 2019, she and fellow comic Ali Wong were promoting their animated Netflix comedy, Tuca and Birdie, at the Tribeca Film Festival, when Wong recalled meeting while they were still relative newcomers to comedy. The next time they met, Haddish had auditioned, and it reportedly went really well. Wong said, "I saw her the next time in New York when she had auditioned for SNL. Everyone around town said she killed it. She knew she killed it. And she was like, if they don't give it to me, it's effed up." At that point, Haddish stepped in to clarify her words. She said, "No, I said if they don't give it to me, them. Yep, I said next time I'll be hosting, and that's that." That prophecy came to pass in 2017, when Haddish made history as the first ever Black female stand-up comic to host the show. Appearing on Late Night with Seth Meyers, Haddish revealed that while she was hosting the show, she cornered Lorne Michaels and told him,
"You know I auditioned for this show a couple of times. Thank you for not hiring me."
Beginning his career as a stand-up comic, Zach Galifianakis went on to big screen success with the Hangover movies and also starred in his own FX series Baskets. He also wanted to become a member of the Saturday Night Live cast. A brief snippet of his audition, which took place on the famed SNL stage, was shown during the SNL 40th anniversary show. In the clip, Galifianakis speaks into a microphone declaring,
"I have a new headshot. It's a scratch and sniff, and it smells like failure and onions."
He didn't land a spot on the cast, but Galifianakis was hired to be a writer, working part-time on a few episodes in 1999. During an appearance on the Literally with Rob Lowe podcast, he admitted writing sketches did not come easily for him. That was evident in an idea he pitched for an episode hosted by Britney Spears. Feeling that Spears' belly button was constantly exposed, Galifianakis theorized that it could use some protection, and imagined Will Ferrell playing a security guard who's shrunk down Fantastic Voyage style in order to stand watch. The sketch idea was not well received. He recalled, "It felt like a tumbleweed went right across the writer's room table, and a cricket writing it. I'm not offended that no one liked it. It was probably bad." He was fired after just 2 weeks on the job.